Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And our broadcast is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your continued support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. And right now, you can receive a case of Fiji water ordered at FijiWater.com and 50% off on your second case. The code is FIREWORKS at FijiWater.com. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, this is the last week for our June, the month of June, FijiWater.com sponsored promo. We will continue throughout the year. However, one of our listeners and viewers will be selected to win a case of Fiji water from FijiWater.com. All you have to do is go to our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com. Once again, WKAP, not WKRP, but WKAPfaith.com. The first three songs you hear at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. List those three songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. You may be the one selected to win a case of Fiji water, Earth's finest water, from FijiWater.com. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are interested in dating someone you work with. You said, however, you are concerned about what might happen if it were not successful. So, let me say this to you. This is real important because, first of all, you have to look at the company policies. That's first and foremost. You've got to examine that. Make certain that there's no conflict by you dating someone that you work with. In addition to that, you've got to give it time. You know, don't rush into anything. Take your time. Observe his personality traits. You know, observe his attitude. You know, it takes time to really understand someone, but you've got to look at the attitude on a daily basis, not just on a temporary basis. You know, you cannot just decide you want to date someone because they look good. You can't decide you want to date someone because they live well. You have to really observe their personality traits. So, First and foremost, attitude. You know, what is he like in the professional environment, first and foremost? Because he's going to spend more time in your professional environment than he is going to be spending awake on his personal time. Because, you know, you got to sleep. But you've got to look at that first. Because that's where you see him frequently. And then secondly, if you just listen to what goes on in the professional environment, how does he interact with other people? Now, we all have a switch, or we should have a switch code when it comes to how you interact with people that you're going to do business with and how you interact with people at home. You can be the same person with your fundamentals, but there's going to be a variation. Now, having said that, the second thing you've got to look at is, what's his behavior? Does he show up for work on time? Does he try to, leave early? Or is he the first one in, last one out? That behavior is going to tell you a lot. When he goes out to lunch, does he go and dine for lunch, or does he drink his lunch? These are all things that you've got to pay attention to. You've got to look at the behavior of someone. Do they have the character? What's their level of commitment to making the company a better place to work and spend a great portion of your day? You've got to look at the character of individuals, meaning, is he really committed to his profession, his career? Because that's going to tell you a lot about his ability to make commitment on the outside. Then you've got to look at his dedication, his diligence. Is he really on point? Does he pay attention to the details? Is he thoughtful? And I don't mean just being polite and courteous. I'm talking about, is he a thinker? These are things you can pay attention to in the professional environment, that you don't have to rush into anything in the personal environment. But these are traits you're looking for. What's his level of excellence? So how does he do his work? Does he perform at a high level? Is he performing at the highest level? And how's he present himself? That's part of the spirit of excellence. How is he presenting himself in a professional environment? Does he come to work disheveled? Does he rush in right before he's due for a conference call? You got to pay attention to these things because they all mean something. But first and foremost, what's his faith like? What's his faith life? What's his relationship with the Lord? Is this someone that has a relationship with the Lord? Because if he doesn't, that's not going to work. Because only the foundation we lay in Christ is going to determine the foundation. How strong is the foundation we're going to stand on? So what's his level of faith? What's his relationship with the Lord? All of that you've got to take into consideration. You don't have to tell him, but you have to listen. Now, if he's asking you out, you don't have to say yes right away. You can just listen. And I know this is partly what you wanted to, examine, because, as I was prayerful about this, what you want is to really take your time. You don't have to tell him no, and you don't have to tell him yes, and you don't have to seem like you're confused about whether or not you want to do this. Just explain to him, I need to look at the company policies and make certain that, because if he's smart, he'll respect that, to make certain that that's not going to be an issue for us. And then just tell him, I just want to take my time and really understand what you're asking me. You know, are you just asking me out to lunch, or are you asking me out to dinner, and do you expect it to go beyond that? See, these are questions that we don't ask because in most cases, for most people, it's not important, but it is important. And that's the reason that I encourage everyone, you got to date on a mission. You say you're interested in dating them, but you got to date on a mission. You know, dating, and I'm just going to take me into the next communication, but dating is not what it should be. You know, we're doing everything. Well, this is actually going to take me into all of the communications for the day, but because I see themes forming here, and dating is not what it should be. We need to date on a mission. We're trying to accomplish something. What we're trying to accomplish is get to the place where that relationship will not end because we're bored or we're tired or we don't want to do this anymore, but because it should end in marriage. That's the mission you're on. The end result should be to accomplish something great, to build a great quality of life together. That's what you really want to focus on. So you don't want to just date, look, go to church and out to lunch. Go to church and out to lunch. Go to church and out to lunch. That's 3 weeks of your life. You can have conversations by telephone during that time, but church and out to lunch 3 times. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you should even be interested in pursuing a relationship with this individual. And then the 4th week, the end of the month, you all can schedule to go out to dinner if you're interested in moving forward. But don't waste any time. If you're not, listen, if at the end of 3 weeks, you haven't identified as this someone who can be a potential life mate, that our relationship could develop into marriage, then there's no point in going out. Listen, all of this dating for fun, for entertainment, for sport, none of that is going to get you to the place that God has appointed for your life. None of that. So we've got to do things differently. And the problem is and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we're conforming to the world and not focusing on what God has appointed. We're focusing on what's going on in our society today. And I'm going to stop right there because it's going to take me through to another communication. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by Nike Golf. If you are interested in the game of golf, go to nike.com/golf. You will see everything that Nike has to offer to engage you in the game of golf, to allow you to experience the game of golf. And if you're just focused on your health and wellness, as we all should be, doing our part to resist any sickness and illness, go to Nike.com. They have everything you could possibly need to enhance your health and wellness. They have athletic gear, they have athletic attire, everything you could possibly need to enhance your health and wellness. I'm going to address at Nike.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you did not receive much direction or guidance when you were younger, which resulted in you making some choices that were not good for you. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say to you about that. We don't get to choose our families. We don't get to choose our parents. We don't get to choose our siblings. We don't get to choose our aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins. You don't get to choose any of that. That is, for whatever reason, that is a choice that is made by God. For whatever He wants to accomplish in your life and through your life, that is a decision made by God. And often, we do base a lot of decisions on what we see within our families, what we experience within our families. And we do sometimes make some choices that are not good for us. We all make choices that are not good for us from time to time in our lives, particularly when we do not align our way of life and our will for our lives with the Word of God. And with God's way and God's will. That's a problem. So we make choices that are not good for us. Now, having said that, once we get past the age of accountability at age 12, and once we graduate from high school and graduate from college and we begin our careers and we move forward with our lives, we have to recognize that at some point in time, there comes a point in time where we cannot hold anyone else responsible for the decisions we make. You can't hold anyone responsible. Think about this. The age of 12 is the age of accountability. So by 25, twice the period of your life, from the age of accountability until 25. So obviously 2 times 12 would be 24. By 25, the brain, we now know the brain is developed. So from 25, watch this, from 25 to 35. Some of what we do is based on family guidance or lack thereof, and our choices are aligned with some of our experiences along the way. After that, you really cannot hold anyone else responsible, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because you graduate from high school at 17 or 18, depending on when your birthday falls. Most cases. There are some people that graduate earlier because of their academic performance, but basically 17 or 18, you're going to graduate from high school. Times 2, once again, 34 to 36. So right there in the middle, 35, numbers never lie. So everything's about numbers. By 36, you can no longer hold anyone responsible for the decisions you make. I'm sorry, by 35, 36, you can no longer hold anyone else responsible for the choices you make. You become responsible for all of your choices. If you remain single, when you get married, no matter what age and how early, you can't hold anyone else responsible. Because you've now made the biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life, and that is who you're going to share your life with. So nothing else, no one else is responsible for any decisions you make from that point forward. No one. At that moment in time, you've got to say to yourself, everything I do from this moment forward, I'm either making decisions for my own life, or I'm making decisions for my own life and the life of my family. That's just the reality. So you can no longer hold anyone responsible for your choices. The good news is you get to start making good choices. You get to set aside all of your experience from childhood to adulthood, all of the choices that we made that were not good for us, they're all behind us now, and we move forward. And we make every decision from that moment forward the best decision we're going to make. And the good news about that is we have to keep making decisions. So if you make it the best decision, then the next decision you have to make is also going to be a better decision. And the reason that I'm using that as an analogy is to say this. The more we grow in God, the better our choices will become. God will take us from faith to faith, so the better our choices become. God will not withhold any good thing from you. So he'll withhold what's bad, and therefore we will learn to make good decisions and not bad decisions. It's all about the relationship we have with the Lord, and then holding ourselves accountable for what decisions we're going to make. And the good news is, as long as we meditate and pray without ceasing every day, that we make time to hear from God, that we make time to be in the presence of the Lord, to make time to renew our mind with the Word of God, then we're going to make better choices. We're going to make good choices. We're going to make better decisions. But all of that comes from the relationship we have with the Lord, and not with the relationship that we have with the world. Because there's a lot going on in our world right now that is not conducive long-term for success. And a lot of people don't care about the long term, but the long term will last until the Lord calls you home. So we need to be more concerned about the long term, the end game, until the end comes. Don't allow decisions from the past, don't allow your experience of growing up and becoming an adult to disable you and to cause you to become disabled in moving forward in life. You weren't given a lot of guidance. Now you have the opportunity to guide yourself. The good news is you know what not to do now. So you just have to resist doing it. You know, one of my favorite examples of that is David, who, sat in the presence of Saul, the king of Israel. David was going to become king because that was God's appointment for his life, his purpose for his life. But he got to see what to do and what not to do by watching Saul. you got to know all that you've seen over the course of your lifetime has given you information that you can use to make better decisions, better choices as you move forward in life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. We all have the need to be more effective and efficient in business. Comcast Business will give you the opportunity to do just that. Call Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. The code is Pastor Pope, and with a qualifying bundle, you will receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card. Call Comcast Business, speak to Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you're in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, don't go anywhere else. Simply go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will assist you. He will have someone assist you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche and are just in need of service and you're in our area, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office and drop a loaner vehicle to you and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. So I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you find it difficult in the dating pool. So you said you don't know what men really want. Well, maybe you do, because men are not that complicated. But the one thing you have to remember is the dating pool is not conducive for successful relationships. Just think about a pool, okay? It is a place to hang out. And not only is it a place to hang out, it's a place to hang out with very little covering. You know, you go to the pool, you go with, for women, you go in a bathing suit that is either a two-piece or one-piece. Men, you go to the pool. Generally, it's just your swimming trunks, maybe a t-shirt. But it's just a place for you all to hang out. You get there, you got water, you got the lounge chairs, maybe whatever else the pool is offering. But that's the same thing with the dating pool. You only get what the pool is offering. You only get the opportunity to hang out with people. And dating should not be used to hang out with people. It should be used to get you on the mission of marriage. Let's keep it real. The end goal should be we date, we develop a relationship for the purpose of marriage. That's it. We shouldn't be going on dates just for the sake of dating. We shouldn't go any further if we have not determined in the 3 weeks of going to church and out to lunch together that forming a relationship would lead to marriage. Because anything else is just pointless. It's just pointless. It doesn't have a point because it doesn't have a good end. It doesn't have a successful ending. We've got to do better. We've got to make some decisions to do better. And in order for us to do better, we've got to do things differently. Because if you keep doing the same things that we've always done, we're going to get the same results that we always achieve. Let's try and do things differently. Let's try to do things God's way, God's will, by God's will, and according to God's word. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. And speaking of saving money, right now, if you order a case from FijiWater.com, you will receive 50% off on your second case when you subscribe for delivery at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. Your code at FijiWater.com for the promo discount